Greetings people of the world, we are Anonymous California, Anonymous Tube, and Operation Kern County. This video is a message to the leader of Lizardsquad. We already have your private information, so we are going to include it in the description of this video, but first we are going to say everything that has been going on. According to Daily.com, Vinny Omori was still a bit drunk when he initiated what could be the biggest distributed denial of service attack in history. He woke up around 1 p.m. on Christmas Day, he told me, reeling from a long night getting shitfaced to celebrate his 22nd birthday. He quickly ate Christmas dinner and sat down at his computer. It was going to be a long day. Omori and his friends were about to ruin the holiday for console gamers the world over by taking down Xbox Live and PlayStation Network services. The attacks worked. It was a complete worldwide outage. No one was able to connect to the online services on an Xbox One or PlayStation 4. Omori's group, working under the name Lizardsquad, quickly gained international media attention, as well as plenty of angry messages from kids who couldn't play with their new Christmas gifts. The attacks eventually paused after Omori and his friends received mega privacy vouchers from multimillionaire investor and mega founder Kim.com, vouchers that could quickly be sold on an underground black market. The hackers claim the vouchers are worth $300,000. Soon after they received the vouchers and Kim.com claimed to have stopped the hack, Lizardsquad started the attack again. They tweeted about it incessantly. Omori told the Daily. His group has already sold 300 of the 3,000 vouchers they received from Kim.com at $50 a pop. While we were unable to independently verify claims of the voucher sales, those numbers would mean that the group raked in $15,000 in the hours after the attack ended. According to Lizardsquad, their attacks against Microsoft and Sony maxed out at 1.2 terabits per second. If true, we were unable to verify that's about 3 times larger than the previous record, an attack aimed at Cloudflare's content delivery network in February, which exceeded 400 gigabits per second, according to Ars Technica. Microsoft and Sony have yet to release any details about the size of the hack. Omori isn't his real name, it's an alias. The other hacker we spoke with goes by Ryan Cleary, mocking the Lult Seconds hacker who was convicted of possessing child pornography last year. As members of a new and notorious hacker group, it's important to keep their true identities unknown. To verify their relationship to Lizardsquad, I asked them to make specific changes to their website, post in an IRC chat, and send tweets from Lizardsquad Twitter accounts. Lizardsquad quickly rose to fame after claiming responsibility for attacks on Blizzard and PlayStation Network earlier this year, as well as grounding Sony Online Entertainment president John Smedley's flight after issuing a bomb threat. Lizardsquad also took responsibility for taking down North Korea's internet earlier this week, and targeting the Vatican a few months ago. The group has been teasing plans to target PSN and Xbox Live for months. The hackers said they wanted to exploit the incompetence of Microsoft and Sony. There was one question on the mind of every gamer this Christmas: why? Why would anyone ruin Christmas by taking down these gaming networks? The simplest explanation, Lizardsquad told me, was that they did it for the lulz. The hackers also said they wanted to exploit the incompetence of Microsoft and Sony, and to prove that anyone who promised to stop them was a liar. Microsoft and Sony are fucking retarded, literally monkeys behind computers, Omori said. They would have better luck if they actually hired someone who knew what they were doing. Like, if they went around prisons and hired people who were convicted for stuff like this, they would have a better chance at preventing attacks. If I was working at Microsoft or Sony and had a big enough budget, I could totally stop these attacks, Cleary claimed. I'd buy more bandwidth, some specific equipment, and configure it correctly. It's just about programming skill. With an attack of this scale, it could go up to the millions. But that's really no problem for Sony and Microsoft. What made Lizardsquad so successful? Without specifying how exactly, Cleary claimed that the group has direct access to the infrastructure of these networks, putting little between the hacks and their targets. We've just got a bunch of people with really particular skill sets, and we've been working to get access to some of the core routing equipment of the Internet, Cleary explained, excitement in his voice. We've got some devices that are connected to the undersea cables that facilitate the Internet connects between the United States and Europe. We have access to some of the devices that are in the middle of the ocean that have something like 100 gigabit per second Internet connections. Not even the Russian government is doing attacks our size. They were only managing 100 gigabits per second against some Estonian websites. Cleary and Omori both jokingly said they suffer from an undosability syndrome. While Lizardsquad was taking down Microsoft and Sony, a war was brewing. A rival group known as the Finest Squad seemed hell-bent on stopping the Christmas Day attack, but they failed. Omori said the opposition only made them more determined to take down PSN and Xbox Live. We wanted to show that Finest couldn't do anything. Without access to Microsoft and Sony's servers, there's no way they could have prevented it, says Omori. They are just a group of wannabe hackers. Finest Squad then set up a website that claimed to reveal the personal information of members within Lizardsquad. The website is so far off it's hilarious. Either the information is extremely outdated or straight up wrong, said Omori. Cleary and Omori both jokingly said they suffer from an undosability syndrome. They called their DOS method sophisticated. There's plenty of people saying we're not hackers and DOS isn't hacking. For attacks of this scale, you can't really do them without either having access to insane amounts of funding or being able to gain access to the computers via hacking, Cleary said. You can't just do DOS attacks from your home computer. It doesn't work. Throughout our interview, he played Snapchats of people angrily asking him why he would take down Xbox Live or PlayStation Network. Some begged him to stop the attacks. The attacks continue. Today the group is claiming responsibility for an attack on Tor, the anonymous internet service. Next up, Omori claims that Lizardsquad will invade the mainstream media, making interview appearances on BBC Radio 1 and CNN Tonight. This is what BusinessInsider.com article said about Lizardsquad after allegedly taking down Sony's PlayStation Network and Microsoft's Xbox Live on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. One of the hackers from the collective Lizardsquad has spoken out, revealing his face in an interview with UK's Sky News. The interview with the alleged Lizardsquad member, a Finland-based man using the alias Ryan, was conducted via Skype. Here's what Ryan said, regarding Lizardsquad's takedown of the game networks over the holidays. How it happened: this attack was basically done by 3 people. We had a couple of people from outside the group helping with the attacks, helping us a little bit, but most of the traffic was coming from 1 or 2 people. Why they did it mostly to raise awareness, to amuse ourselves. One of the big aspects here was raising awareness regarding the low state of computer security at these companies. Because these companies make tens of millions every month from subscriber fees, and that doesn't even include purchases made by their customers. They should have more than enough funding to be able to protect against these attacks. If he feels bad about what he did, I'd be rather worried if those people didn't have anything better to do than play games on their consoles on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. I mean, I can't really be inaudible feel bad. I might have forced a couple of kids to spend their time with their families instead of playing games. As of Friday afternoon, Lizardsquad says it is no longer attacking Xbox Live or PlayStation Network, instead allegedly shifting its focus to the Tor project, the anonymous communications service. Tor updated Business Insider on the state of the attacks early Saturday morning. Here is another article about Lizardsquad made by BusinessInsider.com. The international activist group Anonymous is telling the hacker collective Lizardsquad to stand down and stop attacking Tor. Anonymous, which has a long history of hacking and cyber attacking governments, corporations, and religions organizations, says, "We don't give a FK about corporate bulls T networks, we do care about third world communications." The Tor project is one of the most effective sites for encrypted communication, making it one of the most important internet services in the world. Whistleblowers like Edward Snowden have used the service, and it's proven pivotal in dissident movements in Iran and Egypt. Prior to allegedly attacking Tor, Lizardsquad had claimed responsibility for taking down Sony's PlayStation Network and Microsoft's Xbox Live on Christmas Day and Christmas Eve, to the dismay of millions of gamers, by allegedly launching massive distributed denial of service DOS attacks that overload servers with bogus requests. The group explained why it started attacking PlayStation Network and Xbox Live. It was initially for the laughs, but then they wanted to force these companies to upgrade their network security. The group also explained why it stopped attacking those networks. Internet entrepreneur Kim.com offered lifetime premium memberships to his private file sharing service, Mega. But it's still unclear why Lizardsquad, after punishing game networks for 2 straight days, refocused its attention on Tor. Tor's service keeps its users anonymous by bouncing communications around a large network of computers known as volunteer nodes. But as Gizmodo points out, if one group can control most of the nodes, which is exactly what Lizardsquad is attempting to do by attacking Tor, it may be able to eavesdrop on a substantial number of vulnerable users, which has massive implications on the privacy of millions of people who rely on the service. This computer programmer says Lizardsquad has claimed nearly half of Tor's 8,000 relays. Here is another article made by Business Insider about why hacker gang Lizardsquad took down Xbox Live and PlayStation Network. Hacker collective Lizardsquad has claimed responsibility for taking down Sony's PlayStation Network and Microsoft's Xbox Live on Christmas and Christmas Eve, to the dismay of thousands of gamers. As of Friday morning, PlayStation Network is still down, and Xbox Live service is limited. Lizardsquad is not hacking these services, but it is launching massive distributed denial of service DOS attacks that overload servers with bogus requests. Another hacker group, the Finest Squad, is trying to offset these attacks by DOSing Lizardsquad servers to stop these attacks at the source. Sony and Microsoft are scrambling to upgrade the security on their systems, even though neither company has said the downed networks are the result of a DOS attack. Lizardsquad spoke with WinBeta on Thursday via an encrypted connection, asking the group about its motivation and methodology. Here's what it learned. Taking down PlayStation Network and Xbox Live started for the laughs, but eventually the collective found a cause to rally behind, forcing these companies to upgrade the security on their networks. Lizardsquad chose Christmas Eve and Christmas Day because it believed it would anger and reach the largest amount of people. The gang considered taking down Nintendo's online service, but did not, with no particular reason given. When asked if the group would consider addressing other targets, Lizardsquad said it could take down Nasdaq if they wanted to damage the economy, but said that's not its goal. The easier game network to take down was Microsoft's Xbox Live. Sony had apparently upgraded its security recently, which took a bit of time to work around, but Microsoft had almost nothing in terms of security. Lizardsquad has not said when the attacks would stop. It said they would continue until the companies learned from their security issues. Lizardsquad issued a threat last week saying it would take down PlayStation Network and Xbox Live over the holidays. Here is an article made by Forbes.com about the FBI haunting Lizardsquad despite tweeting out a bomb threat to ground a Sony executive's flight this Sunday and landing themselves on the radar of the FBI. Hacking group Lizardsquad remains unmolested and continues to orchestrate attacks on various gaming services. After targeting Sony's PSN, Microsoft's MSFT-0.56%, Xbox Live, Riot Games' League of Legends and Blizzard's Battle.net, the group turned their attention toward live stream site Twitch, in the wake of the company's acquisition by Amazon this week. The streaming service hosts thousands of gamers who stream gameplay for an audience of millions, and has grown so enormous that a $1 billion offer from Amazon seemed like a reasonable price. Yesterday, the service came under fire from the hacking group, which hasn't stopped boasting about its exploits since the attacks started this past weekend. The obvious question here is why this group is still online and able to continue these sorts of disruptions, not only after a string of DOS attacks but in the wake of tweeting a bomb scare to an American airline, the sort of offense that one might think could land you in a deep, dark hole somewhere. The answer? These investigations take time, even for the FBI. If I had to guess, judging by the group's braggadocio about not fearing the feds, and constant references to 9/11s and ISIS, they are not based in the US. They might not be in Iraq, as they claim, but if they're abroad anywhere, obviously that complicates things. The US government would have to collaborate with other countries to see them caught, which would take more time than if they were simply able to handle things entirely as a domestic matter. The Lizardsquad has turned into something of a fascination for the gaming community, who seems both simultaneously annoyed and bemused by them. It's irritating to have these services taken down by these kinds of attacks, but some in the community seem to be attempting to play into the group's games, as evidenced by more than a few forwards with a certain reptilian identifier etched on them. The constant attacks on these services would likely see the group caught eventually anyway, but the airline bomb scare is something that will serve to expedite that process. That's obviously the most serious of their offenses, but each new attack on a service only adds to the laundry list of charges being racked up by the individual or individuals. At this point, any prolonged break in tweeting from the group comes with the hope that perhaps they've been apprehended, but in all likelihood they may just be sleeping. I'm not sure how easy they can rest knowing who is hunting for them, however. So well, we included the story about all of this, We are also going to included the article links on the description of this video for all of you to read them, same as the Lizardsquad leader doxed info, so our clear message for them and the leader is the stop attacking video gamers of the world, and stop attacking Tor website, you have been doxed. Thanks for our brother AnonBiohazard Smith aka Jigsawx Smith for doxing him and getting all his info. We are anonymous. We are legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Lizardsquad, you should have expected us.